Have you ever wondered why some people seem to attract wealth so naturally, while others struggle their entire lives and stay in the same place? The answer may be simpler and more powerful than you think. It all starts with a single thought. Yes, a thought. A mental boost that, according to Napoleon Hill, can be the turning point between a life of limitations and a life of extraordinary achievement. If you are here, it is because you feel that you were born for more. You want to grow, evolve, master your mind, and build a future of real and lasting success. You believe in the power of personal transformation, in the value of self-discipline, and you know that the key to unlocking your potential is within you. What you may not yet know is that all of this starts now, with the right kind of thinking. The truth is that most people live on autopilot. They repeat limiting mental patterns, carry inherited beliefs of failure, fear, and scarcity, and don't realize that they are self-sabotaging themselves on a daily basis. But you are not here to repeat stories. You are here to rewrite yours. Imagine for a moment that your mind is a radio station and you have complete control over the frequency you choose to tune into. When you choose thoughts of prosperity, focus, self-confidence, and abundance, you begin to attract experiences that reflect exactly that. This is not a mystical idea. It is neuroscience. It is mental programming. It is the basis of Napoleon Hill's philosophy of success. Hill stated that all achievement, all wealth gain, has its origin in an idea. And it's not just any idea. It's a thought that is intentional, charged with purpose, fueled by faith, and driven by sustained action. That thought may be the one you're having right now. The difference between you and the great achievers of history is what you do with that thought. Will you ignore it? Or will you use it to fuel the change you so desire? It doesn't matter where you are in your journey. Maybe you're starting a new project, trying to get out of debt, building financial independence, or simply regaining your self-confidence. The common thread between all of these situations is that they require a new mindset. And that's exactly what you'll discover here. How to shape your mind to become a magnet for opportunity, prosperity, and personal fulfillment. This video is for you who are tired of trying and failing, for you who are determined to change your life, for you who want to master your mind because you understand that it is the mind that controls destiny. Here, you will find clarity, practical strategies, deep insights, and mental tools that transform thoughts into results. And be careful, this content is not for those looking for shortcuts or magic formulas. It is for those who are ready to take control of their own mind and, consequently, their own life. Because the truth is that change does not start from the outside. It starts from within. It starts with you, with a thought, the right thought, and everything can change from now on. If you've come this far, it's because something inside you resonated with this message, and this doesn't happen by chance. There is a growing group of people who, like you, believe that true wealth begins in the mind. People who are not content with an average life. People who have decided to grow, evolve, and become leaders of themselves. And it's with this group that you are connecting now. To strengthen this winning mindset, I want to invite you to be part of this conversation. In the comments below, share a word or short phrase that represents your commitment to this journey. It could be something like mental discipline, consistent action, inner wealth, or even millionaire mindset. Choose something that sums up what you seek or believe in. I will be reading all the comments, and yes, I will leave a heart on each one, because every step you take towards your success deserves to be recognized. And if this content made sense to you, like this video right now, this shows me and YouTube that this message needs to reach more people like you. And of course, subscribe to the channel to continue receiving content like this, which has the power to transform your mindset and, consequently, your financial and personal life. Change starts with a thought, but it's action that turns that thought into reality. So, comment, like, and subscribe. Be part of this community of people who have decided to think big, act with purpose, and achieve success consciously. You are not alone on this journey, and it all starts now. If I told you that all that stands between you and the life you've always dreamed of is just a thought, would you believe me? It might seem like an exaggeration at first glance. After all, you've tried so many things, heard so many promises, looked for answers in so many places, and yet, at certain times, you feel as if you're stuck in the same place. But let me tell you a truth that could turn the tide in your mind. It's exactly this feeling, this point of frustration, that can be the most fertile ground for your transformation. And it all starts with what you think right now, at this very moment. The mind is the origin of every great change. And I'm not the one saying. Napoleon Hill, one of the greatest scholars of success, firmly stated that all wealth, all personal growth, all significant progress that you see in the world began with a simple, intentional, and directed thought. And here's the thing, it's not just any thought. It's a thought filled with purpose, faith, and certainty. A thought that comes from the unshakable decision to change. Most people are always repeating in their minds what they see outside. If their finances are tight, they think of scarcity. If they face a challenge, they think of defeat. If they don't see immediate results, they think of giving up. But you are here because, somehow, even if silently, a new type of thinking has already awakened within you. A thought of possibility, of change, of growth. You don't just want to survive, you want to thrive. You want to lead your own life with clarity, focus, and action. You want to have control over your habit, your discipline, and your mental energy. And this is not a futile desire. This is a necessity for those who have understood that living on autopilot means giving up on your own destiny. What Napoleon Hill teaches us is that the mind has the power to create reality. What you accept as truth for yourself transforms your attitude. And your attitudes, when aligned with powerful and consistent thoughts, open paths that were previously invisible. This is more than just temporary motivation. It is a life strategy. It is applied philosophy. It is the daily construction of a strong, positive, results-oriented mindset. So I want you to start observing your thoughts like you observe the seed of a tree. Every thought is a choice. You can choose to think like a failure or a winner. You can choose to believe that it is too late or that it is still the right time to build everything you want. You can choose to think like a victim of circumstances or as the protagonist of your own destiny. And I know you've probably heard this before, that thoughts create reality, that everything starts in the mind. But the question is, are you really applying this? Are you training your mind every day? Are you replacing limiting thoughts with valuable ideas that drive you and make you act even when fear appears? Because that's where the secret lies. It's not enough to know. You have to put it into practice. For example, you can start today with a simple decision to stop accepting thoughts that diminish you. Every time you have doubts about your abilities, you remind yourself of who you want to become, where you want to go, and you repeat to yourself a new belief. I have a strong mind. I am capable of achieving what I want. I am the creator of my reality. This is self-affirmation. This is mental reprogramming. This is conscious action. And this is the kind of content you need to keep close to you. There's no point in watching it once and forgetting about it. Success, personal growth, leadership, discipline, all of these things need to be nurtured, like a muscle that only gets stronger with constant training. So make this video a reminder. Come back to it whenever you feel like you're losing your way. This is your point of reconnection with your purpose. By the way, take the opportunity to share a phrase that represents this new moment for you in the comment. It can be something simple, but that connects you with this new mental pattern. Something like, I choose to prosper, or my mind is my greatest asset. If you prefer, write positive mental attitude, or discipline every day. These are phrases that you can repeat yourself like a mantra, and I will read each one of them carefully, because this connection is what moves this channel. I put my heart in each comment, because each word you write here reinforces the commitment to your own transformation. Oh, and of course, don't forget to like the video if this message spoke to you. This shows me that I'm on the right track and helps to spread this idea to more people who, like you, are ready to rewrite their story. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, now is the time. Each new video is another step on this journey of personal development, deep motivation, growth mindset, and true leadership. After all, you already know, the next level of your life will not be accessed with the same thoughts that brought you here. The key is in a single thought. the right one, the strong one, the transformative one, and from here on, everything starts to change. Napoleon Hill said, "Wealth begins with a thought, but it's not just any thought. It's the one you choose to feed every day." And that's what I want to talk to you about now, in a direct, profound, and practical way. Because maybe you've spent too much time believing that what you lack is money, luck, or contacts. But what if what you've really been lacking is the right thought? The one that not only inspires you, but drives you to act. And not just act once in a while when you feel motivated, but act consistently, with discipline, with a leadership mindset. You know, there is a huge difference between thinking in a common way and thinking strategically. Those who think in a common way react to life, to problems, to the pressures of everyday life. On the other hand, those who think strategically, as Hill taught, act with clarity, guided by a defined purpose. And that is the basis of everything, a defined purpose. You need to know exactly what you want, in every detail, because that is what transforms a thought into a creative force. A thought without direction is like an arrow without a target. It may even fly, but it won't hit anything. And no, it's not about fooling yourself with empty positive thoughts. It's about creating a powerful mental structure that shields you from doubts, distraction, and internal sabotage. Because your mind, at this very moment, is in competition. Every day, ideas of scarcity, fear, and mediocrity try to take up space inside you. And if you do nothing, they win. That's why thinking correctly is an act of courage. It's a decision you make when you decide to grow, to overcome yourself, to become someone who not only survives, but lives with intensity, with direction, with fulfillment. The question is, have you ever stopped to identify the thoughts that have been governing your decisions? Have you ever noticed how a single negative idea, if repeated frequently, can sabotage your project, your relationships, and even your self-esteem? And the worst part, this happens in a subtle, almost imperceptible way. A thought like, "This isn't for me," or "It's too difficult," or "It won't work," enters your mind. And if you're not careful, it becomes a pattern. And mental pattern becomes behavior. Behavior becomes habit. And habit determines result. Now stop and think. How many of the results in your life today are directly linked to the way you have been thinking in the last few months? If you feel stuck, if there is a constant sensation that you are going around in circles, you can bet that the point of origin is there, inside your head. And that is why Napoleon Hill's teaching is so powerful, because he does not point to the external world, to circumstances, to others. He points to you, to your interior, to your mental decision-making power. And this is exactly where the turning point lies. When you understand that success does not begin with physical effort, nor with the accumulation of tasks, but with the mental seed that you cultivate daily, everything changes. From the moment you start to nurture ideas of victory, growth, and deserving, your mind begins to work in your favor. And what was difficult begins to become possible. What seemed distant begins to get closer, not by magic, but by alignment. When your thoughts align with your actions and your goals, you become unstoppable. And here's an important question. What thoughts are you feeding today? Are they bringing you closer or further away from the life you want to build? Because the choice is yours. The mind, like the body, responds to what you feed. And if you feed fear, you will reap hesitation. If you feed insecurity, you will reap paralysis. But if you feed clarity, conviction, and rational faith in your potential, then you will begin to reap progress. Even if it's small, even if it's little by little. Because every small advance, every small step taken consciously brings you closer to your vision. Napoleon Hill talked about the importance of keeping your dominant thought focused on your main goal. This means that every day when you wake up, you need to remember who you are becoming. You need to visualize this new you. You need to speak as he would think, as he would think, act as he would act. This is not theater. This is a mental reprogramming strategy. It is about taking control and training your mind to stop doubting yourself and start building, step by step, the future truly deserve. And I want you to reflect as you listen to this. What thought do you want to transform into your new mental pattern? Maybe it's a thought of worthiness, or of ability, or of courage. It could even be Something like, I am the leader of my life, or I act despite fear. What matters is that this thought is yours, that it makes sense to you, that it strengthens you when the world tries to confuse you. If any of these phrases resonated with you, write them in the comments. It could be victorious mentality or think big every day. Write down what you want to strengthen in your mind. I'll be watching, and I make sure to give each comment a heart, because when you write, you declare. When you declare, you reinforce. And when you reinforce, you transform your mind into a fertile field for extraordinary results. And take the opportunity to like this video if this message resonates with you. This is a way of saying that you are committed to your evolution, that you are not just consuming content, but integrating, applying, and transforming yourself. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, now is the time, because this space was created precisely for those who seek more than motivational phrases. It was made for those who seek direction, clarity, and practical tools to build a life of purpose, freedom, and personal leadership. Here, each video is a piece of the puzzle that forms your new mindset, and I want you to be with me every step of this journey. Because, as you already understood, everything starts with a thought. And when that thought is firm, clear, and nurtured every day, it becomes the foundation of a new reality. And now that you've come this far, it's time to go even deeper. Have you ever noticed how your thoughts shape your actions and results? It's as if every idea you accept as truth becomes a brick in the construction of your reality. If you believe that you are poor, that you were born to fight for your entire life, that success is a privilege for a few, then you act according to this belief. And the worst part is that you don't even realize. You start making small decisions, avoiding risks, settling for little, and thinking it's normal to always live on the edge. But if, on the other hand, you start thinking like a rich person, and when I talk about wealth here, I'm not just talking about money, but also about mindset, vision, and attitude, something starts to change inside you. This is not empty motivational, it is human behavior. The mind creates patterns, and you act within these patterns. If you think like someone limited, your vision becomes narrow, your choices become fearful, and your results reflect this lack of expansion. But when you change the way you think about yourself, about what you deserve, about what you are capable of achieving, your mind opens up new paths. You begin to see opportunities where before you only saw obstacles. And then something incredible happens. Your reality begins to reorganize itself around the new mental model you have adopted. Think about how many times have you sabotaged yourself before even trying, just because you believed it wasn't for you? How many times have you failed to take an important step, to position yourself, to ask for a raise, to start that project? Because inside your mind, there was a silent thought saying, "This isn't for me." This is the kind of mental trap that most people fall into without realizing. And that's why changing the way you think is not a luxury, it's a necessity. You may have been born into an environment of scarcity, limitation, and difficulty. This is real, but the environment you were born into does not define where you can go. What defines you is the environment you build within your mind. And this starts by identifying the beliefs that hold you back, challenging them, and replacing them with new thoughts of abundance, thoughts of leadership, thoughts of ability. Because what you believe, you manifest. It's the famous law of correspondence. The external world reflects your internal world. If you start thinking like a successful person, you start behaving like a successful person. And when you behave like someone who believes in themselves, the world responds. People look at you differently. Doors start to open. You attract situations that previously seemed unattainable because you have started operating on another level. It's not magic, it's alignment. And this alignment only happens when your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions are in tune with what you want to experience. Napoleon Hill talked a lot about this. He said that the human mind, when properly conditioned, becomes the most powerful tool for creation. And that is the big key: conditioning, training, educating your mind every day to think differently than the average. The average thinks about survival. The millionaire mind thinks about purpose, impact, building a legacy. The average reacts the millionaire mind lead. And that, my friend, starts with you, with what you allow to live in your thoughts every day. Have you ever noticed how successful people speak, move, and make decisions? They have no doubts about who they are. They don't ask for permission to grow. They don't freeze in the face of failure, because within them lies a conviction. And this conviction was born from thoughts that were cultivated, repeated, reinforced, until they became an identity. And you can do this too. The question is, are you willing to start this process now? You may think you need to have all the answers to take the first step, but you don't. What you need to do is decide that you will no longer entertain thoughts that diminish, that you will train your mind every day to think big, to think with focus, clarity, and vision. And then, each action you take will begin to carry more power, because when you believe, your actions gain intensity, and intensity generates result. If you've come this far, it's because this power exists within you, and now is the time to activate. Not tomorrow, not on Monday, now. And do you know how you can start? By writing in the comment a sentence that represents this new thought that you want to nurture. It could be, "My mind creates my reality," or "I think like a millionaire every day," or "leadership mindset," or "I act with courage and clarity." The important thing is that this sentence reflects what you want to see grow within you. I read all the comments, and I make sure to leave a heart on each one, because this channel is more than a space for videos. It is a space for transformation, mental reprogramming, and awakening. And if you want to be a part of this, like this video right now, and subscribe to the channel. This is not just to help the channel. This is a gesture from you, saying to yourself, I am committed to my growth, to my success, to the extraordinary life that I know I can build. And as you reflect on all of this, I want you to remember one thing. There is no external success without internal strength. Wealth begins in the mind, always. And your mind, if well directed, is your greatest ally. Let's continue this journey. Here's what you need to do right now. And I'm not just talking about a pretty or inspiring idea. I'm talking about a concrete, practical strategy that's been proven by great minds who have achieved real success, including Napoleon Hill. The first step is to write down the life you want to live. And when I say write, I mean literally put it on paper. Because something powerful happens when you transform the invisible of thought into the visible of writing. You give shape, intention, and direction to what was once just a loose idea. You create a mental map of your future reality. But it's not enough to write anything down. You need to be specific. How do you want to live? Where do you want to live? What will your routine be like? What will your level of financial freedom be? What kind of person will you be? What kind of energy will you carry when you wake up every day? The more details, the stronger the impact of this practice will be. Writing clearly is the first step. 2. Giving shape to your purpose. Because what is not clear has no power to move your mind or your behavior. After you write it down, you will affirm this vision every day with unshakable faith. This is not a mystical ritual. This is mental conditioning. Your mind needs to be reprogrammed to believe that this new reality is possible. You will repeat this vision until it feels familiar, until it begins to generate real emotions within you. Because what you feel strongly, you attract. The unshakable faith that Hill talks about is not based on religiosity. It is based on repetition, on mental discipline, on self-confidence built daily. And here comes the most neglected point by those seeking success: acting as if it were already a reality. This is essential. Thinking positively will not change your life if you continue to act like someone who does not believe in their own future. If you wrote that you want to be a high-performance professional, but you act with procrastination, distraction, and without clear goals, there is a contradiction between what you declare and what you practice. And where there is contradiction, there is sabotage. Therefore, start acting as if you are already living the life you want. This attitude is what shapes your identity. It is what begins to build what Napoleon Hill calls a magnetic personality. You become someone who attracts opportunity because you carry a vibration of certainty, movement, and alignment. People notice. The universe responds. Doors begin to open because you stop acting like someone who is waiting for permission and start acting like someone who is already on the path. And you may be thinking right now, but what if I don't feel ready? What if I start to doubt myself? What if I fall into old patterns again? And I understand you. The mind, when faced with something new, will always try to pull you back to the old, to the comfortable, to the known. But this is where you need to be clear. Your new life requires a new discipline. You will need to insist on the new thinking until it becomes natural. And this requires daily practice. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about focusing on what really matters. Set aside 5 minutes of your day, every day, to visualize with strength and clarity this life that you have written. Feel yourself in it. See the detail. Imagine the scene. Hear the sound. Notice the sensation. Make this an exercise in present. Your mind, when immersed in this type of visualization, begins to create connections that direct your actions. You begin to act with more conviction, to make more aligned decisions, to avoid distractions that take you away from what really mattered. And make no mistake, you will face resistance. There will be days when it seems like nothing is working. Days when fatigue, doubt, and lack of motivation will hit. But it is precisely on those days that you need to remember. It is not about how you feel. It is about what you have decided. And you have decided to grow. You have decided to be bigger than the excuses. You have decided to be the leader of your life. So, on those days, do the exercise even if you don't feel like it. Visualize even if you don't have faith. Write even if you don't have clarity. Because that is the training. It is this effort that builds the new mindset. And a new mindset is not built with comfort. It is built through friction, in the confrontation between the old and the new, between doubt and decision, between fear and faith. And you have that power. It is within you, now, not tomorrow, not when everything is perfect, but now, with what you have, with who you are, with where you are. Change does not begin when things change. It begins when you change the way you think and act. In fact, if this is making sense to you, if you are feeling this force moving within you now, write a sentence in the comment that represents this new cycle. It could be something like, I act as my future demands, or my discipline builds my freedom, or even, I am already living my new reality. What matters is that you declare it, because when you declare it, you take responsibility. And when you take responsibility, you transform. I will be reading everything, as I always do, and leaving my heart in each comment, because this is a journey, and I am walking with you. Like this video, if you feel that this message needs to continue reaching people who, like you, are ready to lead their own life. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, now is the time to join this community. Here, each piece of content is a piece of transformation. Here, you will find clarity, growth mindset, leadership strategies, and practical tools to create your new reality. The journey is just beginning. You are one thought away from wealth. And I know that may seem like a soundbite, but I want you to understand what's behind those words. Because when you really wrap your mind around that concept, it has the power to change everything. This thought isn't about magic. It's about decision. It's about an internal turning point that you choose every day when you wake up. It's the decision to stop harboring thoughts of scarcity, of doubt, of limitation, and to instead harbor a mindset of growth, of confidence, of action. The question is, are you going to keep repeating the same cycle of thoughts that got you here? Or are you going to take control now and start building a new story? This is a yaoi decision that no one can make for you. It has to come from within. It has to be a conscious choice. And more than that, it has to be reinforced every day with consistency. Because the mind, when it is not led, automatically reverts to the old pattern. And that is why so few people truly transform their lives. They wait for change to happen from the outside, when real change starts from within, with a single different thought. This new mindset, the one you're starting to cultivate now, needs to be protected. It needs to be nurtured. It needs to be repeated until it becomes unquestionable. Because that's what a winning mindset does. It leaves no room for doubt. It's clear, it's strong, it's determined, and you're on the path to building that mindset right now. You've already taken a huge step just by being here, listening, reflecting, feeling. Now, the next step is to decide that this isn't going to be just another video you watch. It's going to be the milestone of a new way of thinking, a new way of living. The life you want is waiting on the other side of that decision, and it doesn't matter where you are today. It doesn't matter how many times you've tried and failed. It doesn't matter if you feel lost, stuck, or tired. None of that defines your endpoint. What defines your destiny is the thought you choose to have right now, and what you decide to do with it from this moment on. Napoleon Hill said that success comes to those who are mentally ready to receive it. So, I ask you, are you preparing for it, or are you just waiting for it to fall into your lap? This channel, this content, this message, all of this was created for people like you. People who, despite the challenges, want to grow, who are tired of living on autopilot, who know they can do more, that they deserve more, and who are willing to do whatever it takes to change their reality. And this brings me to a simple but powerful invitation. If this message resonated within you, share here in the comments a phrase that represents your commitment. It could be something like, I choose to think like a winner, or my mind is my greatest asset, or maybe, wealth begins within me. The important thing is that it's something that connects you with this new version of yourself, something that you can read later and remember this moment. I read everything, I read every word, and I make sure to leave a heart in the comment, because each comment of yours is a declaration that you are ready to think differently, act differently, and reap different results. And since you're here, if this really touched you, like this video right now, this not only helps the channel, but it also helps you establish this moment as a turning point. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do so now. Subscribing is a way for you to say, I want more. I'm ready to grow. I'm committed to my personal development, my success mindset, my financial growth, and my inner leadership. You don't have to wait for permission to change your life. You just have to decide. And that decision starts with a single thought, the right thought, the thought that transforms, the thought that builds, the thought that opens doors. And you are exactly where you need to be to take that next step. So say to yourself right now, silently or out loud, I take control of my mind, because that's where it all starts. And the rest, believe me, will start to fall into place. If you've made it this far, it's because something inside you has been activated. If this video helped you develop your mindset and spark that flame of motivation that might have been extinguished, then now is the time to continue this transformation. Subscribe to the channel to continue receiving content that will strengthen your discipline, elevate your vision, and keep you steadfast on the path to success that you are building. And if you really stayed until the end, comment below, I choose to grow every day. This phrase will mark this moment as the beginning of a new cycle in your life. And I, as always, will leave a heart in each comment, because I follow every step of this journey with you. Oh, and don't forget to like it right now. This shows that this content made a difference to you and helps to spread this message to more people who, like you, are ready to change. And before you leave, watch the next video that is appearing here on the screen. It is a direct continuation of this journey of growth. It will deepen even more what you started building here. Click there and let's continue together. Your next level starts now.